right, let's jump into Google. So Google is, of course, it's a staple of everyone's portfolio. And you can see this incredible run that they've had since kind of when this whole plague started. They got to about $1,000 and now they're $2,100. So incredible run, incredible company. Let's see how to play this thing. Google is definitely an uptrend right now, and we're kind of moving into that overbought range, which is above 80%. Now, of course, overbought just means that there's a higher probability of the stock turning on you. Is it going to happen? Not necessarily. Things can stay in the overbought range for months and months and months on end. They can, I think Apple previously to about a month ago was in the overbought range for about 8 months, or 6 months. So it just kind of, up here, we just hang here in this over 80% and just kind of go sideways, and the stock price just keeps continuing going up on us. So it doesn't mean anything. We're getting into this overbought area, so just know that there is a probability of this thing turning back. The thing that I'm noticing on Google right now, though, is, let me pull up a line chart here. Oh, okay. So what I was going to say is that we had this big run up with no support down here, which likely means that the stock can pull back on you. Like when we had this big run up here, stock pulled back on you, but it doesn't seem like it does that with Google. When I'm looking right here, actually, we had this big run up, and I would expect the stock to pull back into this range, but it didn't. It kind of just stayed here with Google. So interesting company, and this is a reason that you want to be trading. I say pick your basket of 5 stocks, 5 to 7 stocks, and you trade them over and over. So you would know that when these things do this, you kind of have a general idea of how Google behaves, for example. So when you see something like a big run up like that, you could say, okay, well, the likelihood of it pulling back all the way back down, like something like H&R Block, which I did last week, is not as high. So it's just something you can learn. And you can see that Google made this nice run up, and we pulled back and created this W formation. So Google should be good to go right now. Let me see what the candlestick looks like, and this might be something that we can add to today. So what I'm going to want to see from Google, and I'm going to just zoom in here a little bit. What I'm going to want to see from Google is a candlestick that kind of looks like this one here, over here. I want to see a big green candlestick like that kind of pushes me through this resistance of 23.31, kind of like that, and then I'll be happy going with Google. Again, just like all the FANG stocks that we're seeing, we are seeing this incredible decelerating volume. We've seen it on Facebook, we've seen it on Apple, we've seen it on Netflix, and now we're seeing it on Google. So the overall market is not there right now. Just for the heck of it, I want to pull up the S&P and just kind of see what the volume there is doing. And this tells all because the FANGs have made up 45% of the move of this market for the last couple of years. So you can see with the S&P ETF, we're getting the same decelerating volume that we're getting with FANG. So that makes perfect sense. So let's get back to Google and see how to go about this from a swing trade perspective. So right now, what I'm going to expect Google to do is kind of sit in this consolidation range between 2,053 and 2,131. So we're in this range right now. They gapped up there last week, and I'm just going to expect it to bounce around in here for a while until we get some kind of green day where it just kind of bounces out like that. That's what I'm expecting from Google. Of course, I'm going to need more volume. These 3 volume bars right here, that is what I need for a few days in a row to get this thing going. And ideally, I'd like to get more than 3 or 4 days where I can just really push this stock up and it can go through. Great thing we have going on for us, it is very well above all 4 of its major moving averages. It's already dealt with this gap. It's created a nice W that we saw over here. Google's looking good. I mean, you're a little late to the party, of course, but if you want to get in this thing, just wait for a big green candlestick to engulf and you should be good. One thing to pay attention to is this bid and ask difference. I know we have a $2,100 stock here, but this bid and ask difference needs to be, for something like this stock, 3 or 4 cents, or ideally less. It's possible to see, but we're seeing something right now where there's a big spread between the bid and the ask. So I'm just going to lay low on both of these and kind of sit back and see what Google does. Great company. And it will eventually be a good trade for you no matter what you're doing. But I want to go over and look at how to day trade this. So Google is an interesting company, and before I go any further, I know this video is not going to be posted, but this is Tuesday and we have gone almost positive with everything, which is truly incredible. Stocks just don't go down. It's really crazy. Eventually they will, but they do not right now. So with Google, it's an expensive day trade, that's for sure, but we can do it. So again, this morning we had a nice move up, and just like that, the stock price came down. We're kind of just sitting in this area between 80 and 20%. And of course, we don't trade in that range. We want to be, if we're going long, over 80%. If we're going short, under 20%. So with Google, it's not your ideal day trading stock. One of the biggest reasons is it's very expensive. And I don't mean that from how much you can afford standpoint. I'm talking about how much volume you can get on it. There's a higher likelihood that you're going to get trades on a company that's $100 or less, opposed to a company that's $2,100. So with Google, not your ideal trade, but of course you can do it on a day chart. But yeah, right now I'm just sitting along. This is a great example of just sitting there and being patient, and we're in the middle of this range. Just let it play out, let the trade come to you, and eventually you will do very well. So if you guys like this video, if you want to hear more about this stuff, you want to ask me questions, I'm in the Mo's Muscles chat all day, every day talking. I'm making videos on this stuff. I'll answer your individual stock questions. We've built a great community of like-minded traders, and feel free to sign up. We'd love to have you there. Have a great day.